The biggest names in entertainment are scrambling. Rumors are flooding social media that tie once beloved figures to secret gatherings, hidden tapes, and hush-hush deals. It's not just about one disgraced mogul anymore. This situation has ballooned into something far more sprawling. Suddenly, an industry that once felt untouchable finds itself on the brink of exposure. One name rings out above the noise: Will Smith. He recently took a public stand, insisting he's got nothing to hide and that he was never a part of the wild parties linked to the embattled music icon Diddy Combs. But his denial left audiences buzzing, because for years there's been chatter that Will's squeaky-clean persona might mask a far more complicated story. We're about to explore why so many celebrities who once circled Diddy's orbit have gone on the defensive, especially after tapes, alleged diaries, and hush money controversies came to light. Are these revelations simply hype created by rumor mills, or is Hollywood facing its darkest reckoning yet? From Ashton Kutcher reportedly cooperating with investigators to Jay-Z's legal entanglements, right down to Will Smith's fiery refusal to be lumped into any of it, this moment feels like the tipping point. Buckle up, because once we peel back the layers of these connections, there may be no turning back. For years, Diddy Combs seemed like the ultimate power player, renowned for his record label, iconic tracks, and lavish lifestyle. When people heard stories about his over-the-top events, they shrugged it off as just another example of celebrity excess. But everything changed the moment allegations surfaced about something far more disturbing lurking behind the music mogul's flashy exterior. Whispers of freak-off parties, rumored to be adult gatherings with questionable activities, blew up after a wave of civil lawsuits and shocking testimonies hit the press. Suddenly, the glamorous veneer started to crack. The real bombshell dropped when law enforcement got involved. At first, fans dismissed the idea that a high-profile figure like Diddy could be facing serious federal charges, but news outlets soon confirmed that he had been arrested and was awaiting trial on multiple counts tied to exploitation, intimidation, and forced acts. According to formal complaints, these freak-off parties weren't just harmless fun, they were epicenters for forced encounters, manipulative deals, and a web of silence. This swirl of accusations left the music industry reeling, especially once everyone realized that multiple celebrities, some household names, were frequent guests at these events. Strangely, the one thing that jolted the rest of Hollywood into panic wasn't the initial lawsuit itself, but the revelation that Diddy had reportedly stashed away recorded evidence. People began talking about hidden cameras, large quantities of baby oil found at his properties, and bizarre details about extended gatherings. Before long, the entire conversation shifted from Diddy might be in trouble to who else knew and who might be on those tapes. That's when we started seeing a mass exodus of celebrities sprinting to make public statements, deny involvement, or even flee the country. For many onlookers, it all pointed to one massive question: if Diddy truly had a secret library of compromising footage, how many others were implicated? No one expected Will Smith to be at the center of these allegations. His persona, built over decades, is that of a fun-loving actor and a man of family values. Yet, in an era where memes spread faster than facts, images of Will Smith partying with Diddy surfaced left and right. Suddenly, it became open season on rumors linking Will to events that he now claims he had no part in. Fans immediately brought up photos of Will at Diddy's all-white parties, a staple of the hip-hop scene for years. They wondered aloud, how many of those parties were just upscale gatherings, and which ones were these so-called freak-offs? The speculation fueled wave after wave of commentary online, with people analyzing old interviews, talk show moments, and comedic roasts that hinted at strange encounters among Hollywood's elite. Will, for his part, broke his silence in a rather uncharacteristic way. On stage during a December concert in San Diego, speaking directly to a raucous crowd, he acknowledged that he'd seen the memes. He admitted some were downright hilarious, but he was firm that none of them represented the truth. He insisted he was nowhere near any freak-off gatherings, had never engaged in questionable behavior with Diddy, and that the entire narrative linking him to these alleged exploits was pure shot. The crowd erupted in both cheers and confusion, because his statement only raised more questions. Why address it so passionately if it's just baseless rumor? And how did he explain the long trail of photos showing him and Diddy together over the years? But that was only the tip of the iceberg. When Will tried to brush off the chatter, it left many fans unsure whether he was addressing the real concerns or simply swatting at memes. The internet wanted more than a few strong words. They wanted an explanation of how someone so publicly entwined with Diddy, at least in social circles, could claim total innocence. And in Hollywood, denials rarely put rumors to rest. Instead, they often pour fuel on the fire. Next to fall under the spotlight was Ashton Kutcher, the seemingly easygoing actor-turned-entrepreneur. For years, Ashton had crafted a public image as a well-intentioned activist, championing causes like the fight against global exploitation. He even founded organizations aimed at rescuing vulnerable people from harmful circumstances. That carefully honed altruistic persona, however, clashed with new chatter that he'd been a close friend of Diddy for almost 2 decades. The first hints of trouble emerged when news leaked that Ashton might be cooperating with federal authorities in their case against Diddy. Jesse Waters, a media figure with a reputation for provocative statements, claimed that Ashton planned to testify in open court and then leave the US for good. Was it just rumor or something more substantial? That question ignited a firestorm of speculation. Hollywood insiders whispered that Ashton's marriage troubles and eventual divorce had been spurred by unsavory experiences at Diddy's gatherings. Some even suggested that these experiences had caused Ashton to distance himself from the entertainment world and focus on business ventures in tech. According to unverified sources, Ashton realized how risky it might be if certain tapes ever saw the light of day, so he shifted gears to ensure his public reputation didn't crash and burn. To outsiders, Ashton's situation seemed to illustrate how deep the potential fallout could run. If a figure known for philanthropic work and an everyman persona was scrambling to cut deals or testify against a former ally, then no one was safe. In typical Hollywood style, critics debated whether his activism had been sincere or simply a way to launder a tarnished image. All of a sudden, Ashton Kutcher wasn't just a guy making cameo appearances. He was a name swirling at the center of a storm that threatened to expose entire networks of influential people. Networks that might include far more than just Diddy or Ashton. If the controversy stopped with Ashton Kutcher and Will Smith, maybe the public would have chalked it up to random star drama. But the list of rumored connections continued growing, and near the top stood one of the biggest names in music history, Jay-Z. He and Diddy were famously close, both major hip-hop icons navigating the waters of fame, business acquisitions, and philanthropic ventures, building an empire from scratch. Yet recent court documents hinted that Jay-Z might also be wrapped up in the swirling accusations, with claims that he was present at some of these adult gatherings. Some lawsuits specifically named Jay-Z, alleging that his presence went beyond mere friendly business. Of course, these remain allegations. No official court verdict has pinned him down, but the possibility alone is enough to shake fans who've admired him for years. Jay-Z's brand has always projected a certain swagger, but also a sense of sophistication and respectability. Being roped into such a scandal raises doubts about how deeply some of these figures were involved, or at the very least, how much they might have known. To compound matters, there are rumors that if Jay-Z falls under serious legal scrutiny, more big names could come tumbling after him. Over the decades, he's cultivated strong alliances with politicians, business leaders, and philanthropic organizations. If everything is proven in court, it won't just be a blow to Jay-Z's reputation, it could ripple through the entire entertainment industry. For now, many watchers are left asking one question: will the massive success and philanthropic credentials of a figure like Jay-Z grant him a protective shield, or are we about to witness one of the biggest takedowns in modern pop culture? What kicked this entire situation from mere chatter to full-blown crisis mode was the looming presence of hidden tapes. Ever since Gian Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, and others mentioned that Diddy kept cameras rolling at his parties, it was as if a ticking time bomb started counting down. Then came Courtney Burgess, a friend of the late Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-wife, who stepped forward with claims about stashed footage and a diary detailing horrifying secrets. Allegedly, the FBI seized at least 8 tapes, along with more than a handful of flash drives containing personal diaries and other digital evidence. The gossip mill was quick to fill in the blanks. If those tapes showed unethical or even illegal acts, the FBI would undoubtedly use them to negotiate or build cases against prominent figures. More than a few celebrities, from Ashton Kutcher to Ellen DeGeneres, reportedly considered skipping town, taking extended vacations overseas in the hopes of avoiding subpoenas. But it wasn't just flight that celebrities contemplated. Several big names supposedly tried to cut deals, offering up info on bigger targets to secure their own immunity. That's how the rumor of Ashton Kutcher testifying or others cutting deals began to swirl. Could it be that each star is ready to sacrifice another to save themselves? Or is all of this just media-driven chaos feeding on the smallest scraps of legitimate information? The public is torn, but law enforcement remains tight-lipped about the actual contents of the tapes. All we know for certain is that once the FBI starts sifting through well-labeled evidence, the next bombshell could drop at any moment. To outsiders, it might appear shocking that these extreme allegations floated around for so long without major consequence. Yet, the entertainment industry has a long history of hush-hush dealings, backroom negotiations, and money changing hands to preserve reputations. Over the years, whistleblowers like Jaguar Wright tried to alert the public to disturbing patterns, but their claims rarely gained mainstream traction. Most people either dismissed them as conspiracy theories or isolated incidents. However, the momentum shifted when one high-profile figure after another fell under the intense scrutiny of both the media and law enforcement. Past complacency and fear of blacklisting were replaced by a wave of courage as smaller voices started to speak out about their experiences. Much like previous industry shakeups, from the Me Too movement to high-profile figures exposed for wrongdoing, these fiascos illustrate an unsettling truth. Powerful people often rely on the culture of silence to maintain their position. They cultivate a sense that if you speak out, you'll be cast aside. If you keep quiet, you'll continue to enjoy the glittering benefits of fame. Yet this time, the presence of possible video evidence changes the rules of the game. It's one thing to rely on eyewitness accounts that can be retracted, doubted, or misrepresented. It's another to have actual footage. If that footage indeed exists, showing key players engaged in illegal or exploitative activities. Nobody in Hollywood wants to be linked to a scandal of that magnitude, which partly explains the sudden flood of disclaimers, relocations, and personal pleas of ignorance. While the truth is still murky, the fear coursing through the entertainment world is unmistakably real. Amid the chaos, we've seen families and careers teeter on the edge. Consider Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's public image as a power couple. They've faced rumors about unconventional arrangements, open relationships, and tension in their home for years. Now, speculation about entanglements at Diddy's parties only adds to the swirling confusion around their marriage. Were they actually involved, or was it all rumor? Will's passionate denial suggests one thing, while the internet's endless gossip points in another direction. Meanwhile, their children, Jaden and Willow, continue forging their own paths in showbiz. But fans now scrutinize every word and action, suspicious that the Smith family's private life may be more complicated than they let on. Ashton Kutcher, once a leading actor on primetime TV, pivoted toward the tech sector and philanthropic causes, maybe to safeguard his reputation in the face of potential controversies, or maybe just to chase new opportunities. Either way, the timing now looks suspect to many. If he testifies against Diddy, will it bring him redemption or brand him as a traitor who only came forward to protect himself? Then there's Jay-Z, whose iconic marriage to Beyonce has defined a significant part of modern pop culture. If evidence emerges that he played a bigger role in Diddy's alleged ring than previously thought, the resulting scandal could tarnish everything he and Beyonce have built, both as artists and philanthropists. Even if no proof exists, the mere presence of such allegations can ripple through endorsements, partnerships, and philanthropic endeavors. After all, success in the entertainment world depends heavily on public perception, which can vanish in the blink of an eye. Before these allegations, few could have imagined the possibility that some of their favorite celebrities might be linked to something so vile. Fans often see stars as distant icons, talented, enviable, and often morally upright. The saga with Diddy, Ashton, Will, Jay-Z, and potentially many others has begun shifting how people consume celebrity news. More are waking up to the fact that the glittering facade often hides dark corners, power plays, and manipulative tactics. Social media is fueling this shift by the minute. Memes circulate faster than official statements, shaping narratives well before any court proceeding can confirm or deny the validity of a claim. In the meantime, major news outlets run segments on the legal ramifications, while podcasts and YouTube channels dissect rumors, statements, and contradictory pieces of evidence. One moment, a celebrity is everyone's hero. The next, a conspiratorial rumor places them at the center of moral outrage. Some fans have publicly stated they'll never listen to certain artists again, while others believe in the principle of innocent until proven guilty, refusing to jump to conclusions. Yet the most startling impact might be on the up-and-coming generation of entertainers. Many younger stars, from rising singers to social media influencers, see this fiasco as a red flag. They're more cautious about the company they keep, the events they attend, and the alliances they form. If one slip at a questionable party can land you in the biggest scandal of the decade, is the thrill of big-name connections allegations really worth it? It's impossible to say with total certainty where this scandal will lead. In Hollywood, some controversies fizzle out after a round of denials, hush money, and strategic PR damage control. But this situation feels different, partly because of the possible existence of those incriminating tapes, partly because more than one high-profile figure is tied to the allegations, and partly because a wary public now craves transparency in a world that used to thrive on secrecy. If the tapes turn out to be authentic and damning, we could witness an upheaval within the entertainment industry like never before, a purge of powerful players long rumored to hide behind charities and brand deals. On the flip side, if the tapes lack substance or fail to emerge at all, perhaps these controversies will gradually recede into the background, eventually becoming just another scandal overshadowed by the next big headline. No matter the outcome, the uproar surrounding Diddy, Will Smith, Ashton Kutcher, Jay-Z, and countless others has already left its mark. As viewers, we're left to wonder, are we watching the implosion of an elaborate empire built on dark secrets? Or are we falling prey to a flurry of rumor mongering in an era that thrives on sensationalism? Hollywood has a long track record of reinventing itself in the face of scandal, but there's a chance this moment might ignite sweeping changes in how the industry operates, especially if more victims and witnesses come forward. Only time will tell which stars will emerge unscathed and which careers and legacies might be reduced to rubble by the revelations still unfolding. For now, keep your eyes open. In a world where images and narratives can be manipulated in an instant, each new day could bring a fresh piece of evidence, a surprising twist, or a public reckoning that forces us all to reevaluate the untouchable status we grant our favorite celebrities. And if even half of these rumors prove true, we might be witnessing the end of an era, replaced by a new Hollywood where no amount of fame can shield those who've gone too far from facing the consequences of their actions.